Yes, people, we're back again. 12th man's back. The Arsenal Roundabout is back. Make sure you're doing us a favor. Hit like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're creeping closer and closer to the big 60K is the next target. So let's get there together, people. Make sure you're following OK Jerseys. The code is 12man. You'll get 8% off. You can get any shirt from any era, anybody you support with any name and number on the back. So make sure that you are showing them some love. They've been great to us, so make sure you're showing them some love as well. We've got Stricto in the house, D back from Fanzone TV, and Christian in the building. Make sure you're following all of these guys on social: Stricto, Strict, Fanzone TV, and Christian Tyre Sports on social media. Kenny Ken's going to be in the house very soon. He's finishing up on another stream, and Brandon's having some Wi-Fi issues, so he'll be with us within the next 10 minutes or so as well. It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. I mean, it really is a good time. We've gone 6 points clear. We're top of the Champions League. We're in the semi-final of the Cup. And normally we get like these panels together and there's certain man over one side saying we're going to win everything and certain guys on the other saying I'm not too confident. Right now, I don't know that anyone can be too negative about the way things are. I mean, I'm sure they will be, and I'm sure we'll get to that. But for me right now, I'm a very happy Arsenal fan. We're way into over halfway. We're into 2026. And if I'm honest with you people, if you would have given me top of the champs, top of the league, and in the semi-final of the only cup that we can be in so far, I'm absolutely snatching your hand off. And on top of that, there's been news today that Manchester City, albeit might be in the market for Semenyo and Guehi, which I think will be two very good signings, had Gvardiol out for potentially the rest of the season and Diaz out for 6 weeks. So both their centre-halves are now out. Now, it does make me laugh, and I don't know if you guys agree with me here. The whining from Manchester City. Oh, we haven't got any centre-backs. Like, come on, man. When it was us, we had to get on with it. Do you know what I'm saying? We had to get on with Mosquera and Nketiah, and we had to get on with Rob Holding before that, and players that have been in there in the past. So Manchester City have to get on with it. I'm sorry, I've got no sympathy for them. They're moaning about having a small squad now. Well, that's up to them. What I think it is I actually think there's a few Manchester City fans that are a little bit nervous now. And they were flying and it was getting across the line and they were playing well and Foden and Cherky were killing it and Haaland was scoring. And now they've started to look at their defense being vulnerable. They've drew a couple of games. And some of them are very, very worried and very shaky. So how are you feeling, Stricto, right now as an Arsenal fan, bruv? Talk to me. Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year. You see that smile, bro? It's $1 million smile, bro. Bro, at this moment in time, what is there to complain about? Top of the league. We're correcting results that we didn't have last season. Bournemouth away, Fulham away, Newcastle away, Aston Villa at home. We're just doing things a lot different, more mature. I'm happy where we are. And then the teams that are supposed to be breathing down our necks are falling away. They're feeling the pressure. You remember last season, if City played first, they usually won, and then the pressure was on us, right? This season, we played first. We've got the points. They've dropped straight after us. They haven't been able to keep up. And I've been saying this, and I say this, like, Man City, I don't fear this Man City. And it's not, and maybe I'm discrediting what we're doing. And maybe it's not because of Man City, it's because we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go to Everton and win, and we're doing it. We're supposed to go to Bournemouth and win, and we're doing it. So it's not maybe a case of Man City being weak, but maybe it's a case of Arsenal actually doing what we're supposed to do, and that putting pressure on them, and they're folding. Case in point, they've allegedly bought Semenyo, but don't want to release him until he played against Arsenal. as part of the deal. Now that tells me that's a team that is in fear of what we could achieve. We beat them with some. We beat Bournemouth with some. In fact, I don't remember Semenyo really even doing much in that game. To be fair, locked down, long throw, Merchant. But we are where we are now because of where we was before, of all the pain of coming second, on how we came second. Do you get what I'm saying? So at this moment in time, we have to respect what we're doing and not what Man City are doing. Yeah, it feels nice that they're dropping points, but at the end of the day, if we win all our games from now to the end of the season, it's very simple. We are champions. That's simple. So yeah, I'm on top of the moon because of how we're playing, the players that we have, the maturity that our managers seem to have instilled in our players. Even with Saka not performing to the level that we're used to performing, we still got other players outperforming him, which isn't a bad thing. It's good, because we've heavily relied on him for a long time. So it's all right for Trossard to pick up the pieces. It's all right for Saliba to pick up the pieces when Gabby's not there. We have some maturity in our team. It finally feels like the storm that we went over with all these injuries, we're finally coming through, and we're still 6 points clear. That's just the Premier League. What about the Champions League, where I feel we're so unbeaten? I can't see a team beating us. I'm not trying to be deluded here, but bring the best. Was it Real Madrid? We've beaten them. Is it Atletico Madrid? We've beaten them. Bring us Barcelona. Hell, they got slapped by Chelsea. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan right now. It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. Man City, you've touched on now. Everyone, when we had our injuries, everyone was blaming Arteta for the injuries, and oh yeah, What are we talking about Man City now? I want that energy for Pep. Why are these players getting injured? Why is Pep's players getting injured? Do you get what I'm saying? So, bro, this smile, bro, it's from here, bro. It's from the heart. I'm happy where we're at, and long may it continue.
Yeah, no, you're spitting a lot of facts there, brother. I can see why you're confident. Even I'm pretty confident, D. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'm known not to be too go over the top sometimes. But I've really enjoyed what I've been seeing, and the last couple of games have proven that. I understand and appreciate that. I didn't quite think winning was sustainable the way that we were, but I said when the players start to come back that I think we'll see a better Arsenal, and I certainly think we've seen that against the likes of Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Man, how you feeling right now, D?
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I think we have to. I'm still taking it game by game, though. I'm still taking it game by game and not doing 6 points is not that much. So I'm only taking it game by game. I think right now we're in a very strong position, and we've done everything we need to do up to this point. There's only one thing that I wish we would do that would kind of put us in the driving seat all the way, and that's kind of buy players that other teams want just to keep them. So that Semenyo, I'll just buy him just because to stop Man City getting him. Stuff like that. I feel like this is a chance once in a long time that we've got a really good chance. Our squad's good. The thing is, we've had a lot of injuries this season, and we've managed to deal with it. Obviously, we didn't know we were going to be able to deal with it. We all kind of were a bit worried about whether we can deal with injuries or not. But over the course of it, this is the first time we've kind of had our first 11 out. Really, the last few weeks, we haven't really had our first 11 out for a while. This is the first time, so I'm quite happy that we've managed to deal with it. Even against Aston Villa, where we lost, when we played at Villa Park, we didn't have any of our defenders. We had no Gabriel, no Saliba, Hincapié centre back, Timber was centre back. We didn't have any of them. We didn't really think about that at the time. But when you see the difference when we have Gabriel and Saliba back, I was at the Villa game at home. It's a completely different game when we've got Saliba and Gabriel playing. It's a completely different game. And I think we didn't quite take into account how much of a difference it would make when we had our full team. Even with Havertz coming back, the options that we got off the bench, we don't even have to play Marino up front anymore. Jesus is fit, Gyökeres is fit, Havertz is coming back. So we're in a good place. We're in a good place. We can't really complain too much. I just want us to just make sure we stay level-headed. 6 points isn't... It just takes one slip up, one moment of madness, one red card, one penalty to kind of everything change. So we just need to just stay focused, one game at a time. But we're in a good place, man. We haven't been in this type of place in a long time. We're in the Champions League latter stages potentially. We're in the League Cup, FA Cup we got this weekend, top of the league. So position wise, we can't complain. We just got to just take it one game at a time and stay focused, man. We can do it.
No, I love that, Christian. Every week we speak, you get more and more confident, bro. Look, there's people like myself, Brandon, Kenny, some of the other guys that aren't always as optimistic or seen as optimistic. I think we've kind of struggled with a bit of PTSD over the last few years. But what do you see that's different to like allow us to be a little bit more calmer and confident that we are going to do something this year? And I mean, by something, I mean win trophies. Because I think a lot of people are talking about Arsenal winning something this season. I think everyone wants it to be a major, but we are still in the Cup, and the FA Cup starts this weekend as well. So what do you think is different? What would you like to say to the people that still have some question marks or some doubts?
I think it's fine to still have question marks and doubts. You know, for anyone, you know, you just mentioned you got PTSD, and whoever else you mentioned maybe not being as positive or not as hopeful. I have PTSD as well, 100%. You know, we've all been through the same thing. You know, we're all Arsenal fans. It's not like some Arsenal fans won the league the last 3 years and some didn't. Every single Arsenal fan has been through the same thing for the past 3 years. Yeah, we finished second every single year. And we know the labels and the terms that are thrown around when it comes to Arsenal. So definitely still PTSD in me. It's not done. I'm not out here saying we've won the league and give us the trophy. Like, there's a long way to go, 18 games to go. But I think the difference is, and the reason I've got confidence now is because we have a squad. You know, Man City, when they won 4 in a row, don't get me wrong, they were the best team. They deserved to win it. But they had a squad. They had a deep squad. Go back and look at those Man City teams. They had 2 or 3 quality players in every single position. So if they did get injuries, they could handle it. If they needed to rotate for a Carabao, for an FA Cup, Champions League, they could handle it. We couldn't. You know, we were very good. We had a very good 11, 12 in 22, 23. As soon as Saliba got injured, it fell apart. 23, 24, I thought we were really good. Didn't really have injuries. Weren't quite good enough. Man City were a better team, better squad. Last season, we fell apart because of injuries, because of the summer transfer window. Didn't do enough. The squad wasn't good enough. But this season, it feels like it is. It really does. So I'm not just, you know, coming out with blind faith and blind belief and just being a fan for the sake of, you know, I support Arsenal. I genuinely believe this team will win it. I believe that since the summer. You guys heard me, especially you, Dan. You heard what I said in the summer. I thought I called us favourites. I called Liverpool to finish 4th. Like, I was just saying what I was seeing. It's how I saw it going. This team's been playing together for so many years now.
That was a wild shout, that Liverpool 4th at the time as well. I was thinking, what the hell? But yeah, it's turned out to be they might not even get 4th.
I think they will. I think they'll.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. But again, obviously, we'll talk about the game on Thursday, which is definitely not going to be easy. But yeah, Cecil did an interview with Mohamed Salah at the PFA Awards at the start of the season, and Salah said he thinks Arsenal are favourites, not because they got the best players, not because it's the best team, but because they're a unit. You know, they've been playing together for 4 or 5 years now. Those players are now more experienced. They've got that chemistry. There's a belief in the fan base, and I believe now. I think we will win it. And yeah, if you look at City now, you're talking about Diaz and Gvardiol being out. It looks like trouble. And like D said, when we went to Villa and we had Saliba and Gabriel missing, Timber playing centre-back, and Capier coming in for, I think, his first Premier League start, everyone was, oh, shut up. You know, you can't talk about injuries. I'm seeing Man City fans now crying online, talking about... It makes no sense to me. So all we got to do is go and win this league. But not just this league, you know, win multiple trophies, because I believe this team is good enough.
Brandon, interested to get your thoughts on how you're feeling. You're very similar to me, I would say, in terms of how you see things usually. And I think we're normally on the same wavelength, but I'm really confident at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean we've won it already, but the way things are going right now, I think we have to win this league, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have every right to be confident, Dan, at the moment, to be honest with you. You look at some of our performances, I wouldn't say we've played at our absolute best, but the difference between this year and seasons gone by, we haven't dropped points in these games. We've actually turned them into wins. And providing that we continue to do that, I don't see why we don't go and win the league, to be honest with you. I do see a different Arsenal side this season. The squad helps. 100%. I think we've definitely got the best squad in the league. There's no doubt about that. And then, yeah, the fact that like Christian was saying, you know, we've got all these players that are gelled together for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, I mean, look at City, for example, right? In the past 3 to 4 transfer windows, they have lost some big players. I'm talking Ederson, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Gundogan, yeah, Kyle Walker. Even if you go down the list even further and go to your Julian Alvarez's, your Cole Palmer's, your Jack Grealish's, you know, these are some real top players. So they've had to lose quite a lot of players over the last sort of 4 to 5 transfer windows. We've kept a lot of players. You know, a lot of our players that got us in this position in the first place, they've all signed new deals, you know, and then we've added quality on top of that. And we've got a manager who's been here for 6 years now. He's the one who built, you know, this team, this squad, and all the rest of it. And he obviously has to take credit for that. So we're in a settled position. Whereas, although City are settled in terms of their manager, you know, Pep's been there for a long time. In terms of their squad, it's not as settled as what Arsenal's is. So that gives me a lot of confidence. Another thing that gives me a lot of confidence is the fact that we've got a lot of our away fixtures, tough away fixtures, out of the way in the first half of the season. You know, a lot of them teams are going to have to come to the Emirates now. And unless I'm mistaken, we haven't lost at the Emirates at all this season in any competition. I think we drew 1 game against Man City. So the Emirates has become a fortress for us as well. Whereas before, Arsenal's form, we was a lot better away from home than what we were at home. And it was at home that we was kind of, you know, dropping these points. Now it seems to be we've made the Emirates a fortress. I think that's going to help massively. But I also echo what, you know, Dee said. I don't want to see us rest on our laurels, you know, because this reminds me very much of the first season that we went to challenge for the league, right? We went 8 points clear. We was playing some really, really good football. It got to that point where we was, you know, getting towards the end of the season and everybody was saying Arsenal are favourites here. But the issue that we had was we had a January transfer window where we brought in Trossard and we brought in Jorginho. And in the end, it wasn't quite enough. Now, I'm not saying, you know, the squad that we've got now compared to what we had then is completely different. But I do look at certain positions within the Arsenal team where I kind of think, you know, there could be this huge drop off. Declan Rice in particular, if he gets injured for any period of time, that's one player that we could really, really seriously miss in this Arsenal side.
Can I just cut you there? Sorry, Brandon, not to cut you. Sorry to cut you, yeah. I echo exactly what you said about the Declan Rice thing. And before the Villa game, when we were at the ground, we all had the same feeling about the Declan Rice game because Rice was missing that game. We all knew about it a few hours before. We all went there. And that was the main thing we had. And that was, in the first half, we did struggle without him. But one thing I'm really like impressed with the team is we were able to beat a title challenging team in Villa without Declan Rice on the pitch. And even though for a sustained period of time, we don't want that, but I think it gave the team more confidence to kind of know that they can do it because you have to know about it before you actually can do it. You know what I'm saying? I think that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I don't think beating teams in a one-off game, no matter who the team is, really, without Declan Rice is such a big problem. But if we had to go without Declan Rice for a sustained period of time, I would be a little bit worried. So that's the one position that I do sort of worry about. I do think, if I'm being like really selfish, I think the only thing that was missing from our summer transfer window, and I think most of us would agree, is a top quality left winger. If we could go out there and potentially get that in this summer, I mean, that is being really, really selfish to go out there and get that sort of player in January. But I definitely feel like we do need another midfielder in January. I don't want to see us rest on our laurels and then we look back at this window and go, City brought Gahey, City brought Semenyo when they were struggling with injuries. Arsenal didn't do anything. We rested on our laurels. We stuck with the squad that we assembled in the summer and it wasn't quite enough again. I'd rather us go and spend that little bit extra money and then not end up needing that player. Do you know what I mean? Providing we get across that line. But I am confident, Dan. I'm not going to lie. I'm confident. We've got a lot of our players coming back now. Gyökeres still hasn't hit the heights yet, and we're still, you know, scoring on a regular basis and winning games on a regular basis. Gabriel and Saliba, as one of the lads already pointed out, it's a totally different element to playing, Timber out of position, or, they're easily the best two centre-backs in the world. I know Gabriel made a mistake against Bournemouth, but we don't see that on a regular basis anymore. He used to have that in him a few years ago where that happened on a regular basis. That was a one-off, and he went up the other end and he corrected it anyway. But the sheer fact that we brought in this striker who scores goals for fun, and we haven't really needed him to hit the levels yet, we're still top of the league, still comfortable. We're taking the cup competition seriously. I think we've got a great chance of winning the League Cup. I'd really, really like to see us pick that trophy up, because I think that will also set us in good stead for May as well. Get a bit of a winning feeling around this squad. It is a case of we must done. Let's just be honest about it. I've said this before. I don't really see anybody challenging us. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I think a lot of us expected Liverpool to be up there because of the players that they signed and the transfer window that they had. But City, I was always sort of looking at City thinking, Cherky's a decent player. How's he going to slot into this City side? Pep's had to change a few things and tweak a few things to get City and to get City to where they are now, considering the caliber of players that they've lost over the past 3 to 4 transfer windows. And it's not quite clicked for them. It's not quite there. And whereas with us, it's a settled side. So I expect us to go and win the league. And I'm hoping that we're going to pick up another trophy, to be honest with you, as well. I really do.
Yeah, I don't think that's unrealistic to expect that. I think we're the favourites to win the Carabao Cup. We're the favourites to win the Premier League. I think we're probably the favourites to win the FA Cup if I haven't looked at it properly, but I imagine we're one of the favourites with Man City. And in the Champions League, I think there's 4 or 5 that are very close, and Arsenal one of those that people believe they can go all the way. So look, I'm not saying we're going to go and do a madness, but I certainly think it's realistic to expect that Arsenal could win more than one trophy. Now look, I want the Carabao Cup for obvious reasons. One, I think the competition is actually a good competition, unlike some, but I think what it does is it installs that winning mentality to go and win again in May. And whether that's win a Champions League in May, a league, or whatever it be, it wins again in May. And I think we should be taking that seriously. And I think we will this season. We've got Chelsea. We know what's happened over there. That's a mess. And I think that we should be going out for that. But Brandon makes a good point, Stricto, about January. We are in January. The window is open. Expect anything to happen, Strict, or are we going to keep it as it is?
I mean, there's several things that could happen, to be fair. I think I'm not against us going to actually strengthen our squad, especially in the midfield area, the Declan Rice. I think it's pretty obvious. That's probably the only position where there isn't a respectable competition. Anywhere else you can sort of think, all right, cool. The defense. You can take out Saliba, you can bring in Mosquera. Like there's some sort of level of competition, or at least respectable competition there. But I think with Rice, we don't have that. And I think if we are going to definitely shore it up, we might need to go and get someone in that side. I don't think the left side has been an issue this season. If anyone would have said the start of the season that Trossard would have been having the season he's having, none of us would have believed it, because he hasn't shown that level of consistency, because he hasn't been playing consistently on that side. And the start of the season, where he remembers when Berta gave him a pay rise and it wasn't a contract extension, and it was like, what's that about? And now we're seeing the fruits of it. This guy is literally possibly even playing for his career at Arsenal, and he's not doing a bad job at it. So yeah, I think for sure we might just need that Declan Rice sorted out, that area sorted out, And it sounds wild. Maybe, I don't know, did we sell Lokonga? Is Lokonga gone?
Yeah, he's done.
He's done. That's that. I know it sounded mad, but maybe just recall him just to have him there. I'm not saying he's anywhere near Rice, but if we didn't want to spend the money, you could just recall back and just have him there. But listen, I think Berta has trust in these players, Arteta have trust in these players, and most importantly, these players have trust in Berta and in Arteta. Otherwise, they wouldn't be signing. That's usually a sign of a healthy team. When they believe in their manager, they renew their contracts. We've seen it in the past where we've had to wait till the end of the season to see whether these players are staying or not. But these players are doing it mid-season. Yep, Bring the paper, bring the pen. I'll sign it. That gives me mighty confidence, you know. And look, I want us to win this Carabao Cup. I've never cared about the Carabao Cup before, if I'm being honest. I was raised on Wenger never taking it serious. It was a competition that Wenger always used to play the youths. But I think much like Brendan said, it's you win that, and it's a winning feeling, not just for the players, but for the fans. And I think that sort of reverberates around the club. Every game we play, the fans will be definitely be singing, whether it's the Emirates, because I feel like our home fans aren't as determined as the away fans, you know. But I think that might bring something for the home fans, and that's a positive effect that could happen. So I think we could win that, and then go. I just think the feeling that will bring, because right now we've won nothing, and there's a feeling that's there already. Do you get what I'm saying? We've won nothing, and there's a feeling that's there. So actually, maybe put some substance there. Imagine what that's gonna be like. You know what I'm saying? So if we're serious, maybe go out and get someone for Rice. But at the end of the day, if we don't get that, I still think this squad is good enough to get over the line. And like what D said, I don't want to get carried away. It is one game at a time. 6 points is 2 games. But I think the good thing with the 6 points is we've got to be really bad for 2 games. And these other teams have to be really good for 2 games. And that's what we haven't seen this season, is consistency from those other clubs that are chasing us. So that's where the pressure's on.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not hearing this whole, Declan Rice is the only position we haven't got depth for. Like, do you think there weren't teams throughout history that had world-class players that obviously didn't have someone that could fill in? Like, were the Invincibles there saying, oh yeah, but if Henry gets injured, you know, Will Tour, that's a level that, of course, you're not going to have a player that fits in to the level that Declan Rice does. But in terms of our midfield, Stricto, respect, bro, but Lokonga. Bro,
yeah, I agree.
I
wouldn't be wanting him
Mikel
back,
Merino.
No.
Mikel Merino, although he's not the best midfielder, I think he's better when he plays up front. He came in against Villa, did a fine, like he was fine there. Yeah, if you actually look at how we play in terms of Rice and Zubimendi already, they play as a double pivot most games, right? So a lot of the times, Zubimendi will get forward, a lot of times Rice might drop. Most of the time, Rice is the one getting forward, Zubimendi is the one sitting. If Rice was out and Mikel Merino also couldn't play in midfield, and for some reason, maybe you're playing a big game, Eze can't also play in midfield, maybe you drop Odegaard back into the 8 and you put Eze in the 10. You could put Norgard in the 6 and play him in a double pivot with Zubimendi, and Zubimendi's the one that gets forward more. So I think there's already, without replacing Rice, 3 or 4 options you've got in midfield.
Let me just qualify that, yeah? Let me just qualify that. So I watched the first half of that Villa game.
Don't bring up Lokonga again, though, Strict, yeah? Leave
let me just say this, yeah? I
You're going to say first half,
of
though,
that.
but it was 2 games, 2 halves. I
know. Let me just qualify that, right? So I think the first half, what I was seeing was Andre Onana literally just superior in physicality, in power, in strength, in pace, just walking from midfield, facing the eyes of our defenders every time. Now, the whole Lokonga shot, look, listen, it was a mad shot. It was more even saying if we didn't want to spend, we could recall someone like Lokonga on loan. It wasn't saying Lokonga was the answer. It was saying if we didn't want to spend, we could recall him. But we can't deny there's one thing Rice has that neither Norgard nor Merino has, and that is legs. Them lot don't have it. They might have the IQ and even Zubimendi to a certain point, but the IQ is there, but the physicality isn't there. You saw how easy it was for them, man. Anyone who carries the ball, you don't have to be a passer of the ball. Anyone who can carry the ball through our midfield is in all the time, because we just don't have that. If Rice is not there, we just don't have that. And my thing with the whole Lokonga, I'm not even saying freaking like he's gonna play, but I'm just thinking about who currently is in the Arsenal books, who's physical, who's got legs. That was all I was thinking. If we didn't want to buy players, if we didn't have to go out in the market to bring players in, then maybe we'll call back Lokonga, who's the only one that came to my mind. I know it was a wild shout, but listen, no one ain't running through him like how Onana was going through our midfield. I know it was a game of 2 halves, but in that first half, it just didn't look like It looked like
No,
Villa
I
could have
agree. I
scored.
think Onana was unreal in the
Mm.
first half against Villa. I thought he was easily their best player.
Does he
Didn't
do
come
that
off,
against? Does he do that if Rice is there? It
Yeah,
might
that's it.
do,
I mean,
but it's not as easy.
The only bit that I don't agree with you on strict though is the Lakonga bit, but everything else is absolutely spot on. I think you're right. That when you look at the other players in our midfield, none of them. I mean, we really miss Declan Rice's energy in that midfield. Declan Rice, not just in terms of his ball carrying and his legs, he is everywhere on that pitch. You know, everywhere. You'll see him box crashing, right, when we're on attack and we'll lose the ball, and all of a sudden the guy's at fucking left back. Before you know it, like this, you know, with the click of a finger. I don't see another midfielder that can provide that energy to our midfield and also carry the ball in the same way that Declan Rice can as well. The only other question is there a player out there that we could go and get that can do that for us? Because I don't really see many of them types of midfielder in and around, you know, this league that are of that sort of, not even of that level, but there's not many of them around anymore. I don't know what you
I
think.
agree. I agree with you, Brandon. I think that what we're asking is two different things. We're saying, do we need anybody? A lot of people have said potentially someone to cover Declan Rice, and I think people get confused. They think we've got to go and find another Declan Rice. Well, we're not going to get Pedri or Vitinha, so we've got to go the level down, right? And that's why I think these links with Buadi make sense. He's at Lille. He's 18. He looks really good, by the way. He doesn't play like an 18-year-old. Off the ball, he looks incredibly good. And that would make sense to me because he's got legs, engine, and power. Where I like Mikel Merino, I do, but he just doesn't have that, right? And Miles Lewis-Skelly might have that, but he doesn't seem to want to play him in midfield. So basically, if Rice was out for a long period of time, we've got to do one of two things, which is either do what Christian says, which is Norgard and Zubimendi as a double pivot. And although Norgard has played a hell of a lot better in the last couple of games, I've still got a question mark as to whether he would be able to do that for a length of period of time. And obviously, the other thing that I'd prefer to see would be Zubimendi with Eze and Ødegaard either side. So I think you've got to look at that and think, is that good enough to go win the league? Or do you believe there's one short? Because I actually don't think that we're short in any other position. I think up top, I don't really care who plays up top. I was going to ask people, we'll come to that in a minute. I don't really care at the moment who plays up top because then none of them are scoring. But the rest of the side is pretty good when you look at the cover we've got to Saka and Trossard, the cover for Ødegaard. I think that defensively we're pretty stacked, albeit we've had a lot of injuries in that department. I think we've dealt with it very well. So I think there's only really the Declan Rice position. And I just pray he doesn't get a long-term injury because people that say, yeah, but what happens if Rice gets injured? You could say that about Man City. What happens if Haaland gets injured? Or what happens if Foden gets injured? They would struggle as well. So I do think that we're pretty good. But that Buadi is the one, is a very interesting player. I don't know if anyone's seen him.
It's like, I mean, I like the shit. Obviously, we all want to see Zubimendi, Eze, and Ødegaard in midfield because that's probably the most attacking that you could go. You know, if Rice was to be out injured, I just don't think Ødegaard or Eze are good enough defensively, or good enough in terms of, you know, when we're off the ball, at doing that defensive work. And I think that's why Arteta hasn't really gone with that so much, because them two players in particular, they're just not that type of player who's going to sort of sit back or get back, you know, get back in and make tackles and that. Ødegaard, you know, he picks up the right positions and that, and he does get back and he does drop deep. You never really see him flying into tackles or winning headers or anything like that. And Eze's pretty much the same thing. They both want to do the creative thing and go forward. So then it's a case of, well, who's going to do the defensive work with Zubimendi? Because a lot of the time, Zubimendi gets caught out. He does get caught out a lot, and Rice does a lot of that covering for him. And Norgard, I think when he stepped into the team, has done a good job. But Norgard, to me, is very much like a Jorginho-esque type, El Neni type player. Keep it simple, you know, doesn't do anything too extravagant, doesn't look for the wonder pass or the ball over the top. He keeps it simple, and you know, he retains the ball very well, but he's very much a simple player, can win tackles, but not really got the energy in that midfield, if that makes sense.
What are you saying, D?
I agree with what everyone said. I ain't got anything to disagree with at all. My thing is, it's literally just you're never gonna be able to replace Declan Rice. It's as simple as that. He can't be replaced. It's just how do you counter him not playing if he's not playing? And I think we've done that really well against Villa, which is the only kind of evidence I've got to show for it. The only other option we have is to maybe not use him as much, which, I mean, I think that's not ideal, but I mean, it's just going to have to be the case. We're just going to have to do that and just kind of manage. I think he's the main player that we have to manage out of everybody in the team.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, right? Because we've just gone through the options that we've got, and this is to everybody, by the way. If something did happen and we had Declan Rice out long term, what about playing Lewis-Skelly in midfield?
Yeah, that's what I said, but he doesn't seem
to.
I think
Arteta's got that. I think that's his next step.
I don't think he wants to do it yet, though, D, does he? I don't think he's got the faith yet in him. I think with Lewis-Skelly, I think he's definitely lost his left back position. He's like the third choice left back now, Lewis-Skelly, isn't he? We've got Calafiori and Capia, it seems. So I think maybe I would like to agree with you and go, that's because he's going to utilize him in midfield. But we haven't seen that yet, and I don't know why that is.
I think Marino would be his Declan Rice backup in the left 8. I honestly think that's just who he's got there. Marino's his left 8. Zubimendi and Norgard are the 6s. Rice and Marino are the 8s, and Eze and Odegaard are the 10s. I think that's just how he's got it set in his mind. If Rice is not playing, he will play with Marino. That's just what he's going to do. So I think we kind of have to just get to win with Marino's not a bad backup player. It's just annoying when he's starting a lot of games, but he's not a bad squad player. You know what I mean? He's just not Declan Rice, and he's just
think
not
in that position. I think he's really bad in that position. He lacks physicality, he lacks the energy, and he
doesn't lack physicality. He lacks dynamism. So, and the thing with Marino, when I was at the game, and you're watching him like live in the flesh, his positioning is brilliant. He just can't get to do what he needs to do. That's the problem. So Anana's running through. It makes no difference how physical Marino is because he just can't get to him. So I think you're more likely for us to want a player that can get about more so than a physical specimen. So it might make more sense for us to have a player that's busy. See Zubimendi, for example, he might get bullied physically, but Zubimendi is very, very busy. He's about. So we might be better off going for someone who's about and busy more so than someone who's just physical, because Marino's very strong. He just can't get around. So it just depends on
the lack of legs in midfield with Marino. And look, I'm a Marino fan. I think he's a great squad player, but I like him further forward. I don't really like him in that kind of box-to-box 8 position. I think we have to change the way we play when he plays there. And for me, against Villa, when we had Zubimendi and Marino and Odegaard, I think it was, it was Zubimendi that had to change things because we were getting waltzed through. Onana was obviously the guy who was playing well, but Villa's midfield were just smashing us, let's be real. And Marino was just a bit like, come on, man, what you doing? I need to see more. And it was Zubimendi in that game, who I thought was unbelievable, by the way, that actually changed things and actually made it tick and actually said, right, I need to tweak a little bit here. Like, and you could see them talking. I was at the game. You could see them like they're talking to each other. After they had that chat, they didn't go through us once. And that was Zubimendi talking to Marino and himself, because obviously know each other from old, don't they? We know each other well. They're talking, saying, you can't leave me like this. I'm getting screwed. And then basically you see them not get through it. And I thought that was quite interesting. And that was Marino, who I just thought, and I like him, but I feel like he's more of a player that I want to see in the final third, not in the... Do
you know what else made the difference in that Villa game as well, Dan, right? In the first half, we didn't get the press right. Like Odegaard was going and doing and pressing, and we wasn't following in at the right moments, like Marino, and that wasn't following in at the right moments in that first half. In that second half, we got the press absolutely spot on. So Villa couldn't play out. And that helped as well, because they couldn't catch us on the transition. So I think that helped. But also at the same time, I think people forget how much Declan Rice brings to our pressing game as well. You know, Odegaard goes in, and then Rice isn't too far behind either. And normally, you know, when
Odegaard's
they
get right, better as well, Brandon, which has helped. Odegaard in the last 3 games, I've actually rated him. Whereas I've got to see more from him still, but I think he's definitely getting back into the swing of it. I saw his goal at Brighton, the way he pressed. I thought he was excellent against Villa. And the first half, I thought he was a bit stinky, if I'm honest, against Bournemouth. But the second half, I thought he was excellent. Particularly the ball through to Saka for the 3rd goal. I thought that was superb. So starting to see some balls threaded through again now from Odegaard, and he's stopping that stupid loft over the back 4. It drives me insane that he does, which which never pays off. So
He's having shots as well done. He's having shots outside the area.
Yeah,
and look,
he is.
don't get me wrong, some of them shots that he's had have either gone sky high over the bar or they've been a bit weak and feeble, but at least he's trying. Like before, he used to piss me off because he never used to try and have a shot outside the box. So
I agree. No, I agree. You're right. And
that's the thing about that. Like, I think another thing that we're kind of not understanding that about our team that's quite good is a lot of them are fresh. Even though a lot of them have played games, like Gabriel's he's been out for how long? He's come back, he's fresh. Calafiori, when he gets back in a few weeks, he's going to be fresh. Like you say, Marino hasn't played that much. Gyökeres, he's had a spill on the sideline, he's going to be fresh. Even players like Waneri, who hasn't played. Eze hasn't even played in the last 3 games. He hasn't had a minute. So these guys, this is like that's really a manager's dream to have players like Eze hasn't even had a minute in 3 games of the Premier League.
Havertz as well, man. Havertz hasn't even played.
Havertz is back. He's going to be fresh. Trossard is mixing. Like when Trossard doesn't play, Martinelli, even though he's underperforming, he's a fresh player that's hardly played this season. So it's like a lot of them. Yeah, go on.
Let's also give a mention to Madueke as well, because whenever he's stepped in, he's been very, very good. And I was one of the first to sign a petition, by the way, saying no to Madueke. He's coming in, done all right. Do you know what I mean?
We've got to give him more credit than that, because not only has he changed the narrative around him, he's actually kind of like got to the point where we're actually thinking, hold on a minute, you're like just as good as any of our wingers right now. He's gone past just changing the narrative. He's gone to the point now, if somebody say, oh, you sell Madueke, could he be like, no, we need him in our squad.
He's become very important
now. He's like Trossard. Trossard's done the same thing. Trossard was a player that we all wanted to sell in the summer. Now we got to the point where, hold on a minute, and you got to give these players credit.
He's a star.
You got to give them credit.
Are we extending? Are we giving him a contract extension? Trossard.
Who? Yeah, 100%. 100%. And not only does he get a contract extension, you know what it is. You know when you have always had players in other teams that used to hate that always pop up with goals. So you know, like those like Dirk Kuyt that will always pop up with important goals, or the Teddy Sheringham's, or the Ole Gunnar Solskjaers, or the Tim Cahills. Them guys were so irritating to me. Frank Lampard's that other teams had. We've got our own one in Trossard. Other teams hate when Trossard either comes on or is on the pitch. They hate him. My cousin is a Liverpool fan. He goes, when Trossard plays, you know he's going to score.
He reminds me very much of like 2 or 3 ex-Arsenal players that we had as well. He reminds me like with that closely. He reminds me of Freddie Ljungberg. Yeah. Reminds me of Alexander Hleb as well. Remember his kind of like quick feet and all that. So I like that about Trossard. I think this season he's been our best attacker, if I'm honest with you. But talking of that, Christian, what are we saying for the Liverpool game? And I want to ask you your thoughts on it, how you see it going. But I want to ask you who you would play up top, because I think the other positions are pretty much set in stone as long as everyone's fit, right? I think everybody knows Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, either Calafiori or Nkapie, depending on an injury, Zubimendi, Rice and Odegaard, and then Saka, Trossard, and then a striker. Is it going to be Victor Gyökeres? Are we going to see someone different, Marino or perhaps Jesus? What do you think is going to happen, and what would you like to see, bruv?
I think it'll be Gyökeres. Don't get me wrong, I've criticised him. Definitely hasn't scored enough goals. Definitely hasn't been kind of the profile of player that we all thought we were getting. But we all know Mikel Arteta sees the game differently. You know, Havertz wasn't brought in to be a goal scorer. I'm not sure Jesus was brought in to be a goal scorer, but what they both can do is hold the ball up, smart positioning, smart runs, draw defenders. And that's kind of what Gyökeres has been turned into. You know, he's not really in the team right now as a goal scorer. Like, you can say he's underperforming, but I think the way Mikel Arteta is looking at it is he's doing his job. And I think, was it the second goal against Bournemouth was the perfect example of that. You know, ball over the top, good flick on from Martinelli. Gyökeres, I don't know if you've seen the screenshot. I know, obviously, when you watch it, he's drawing the defenders. There's like 4 or 5 players all going towards him, desperate to stop him getting the shot off. Pops out to Odegaard, he gives it to Rice, we score. And I think that's maybe what a lot of fans haven't been looking at. Especially me, I've been looking at, can he put the ball in the net? Is he getting in the positions to score goals? When he's getting chances, is he good enough as a finisher? He hasn't been at all. But what he has been doing, and what a lot of people are talking about, is drawing the defenders, is being physical, is putting himself about. Now, look, that's not what I want a number 9 to do. But if we're winning games, if it's working, if Saka's getting more goals because of that, if Odegaard's form is improving because of that, if Trossard... Remember when Jesus was in the team in that 22-23 season? Martinelli had his best kind of 6 or 8 months. Now, the 2 or 3 years after that, our left winger was, just went downhill, whether it was Martinelli or Trossard. Decent performances here and there, but it was mainly down the right. Our left side's arguably been more dangerous this season. And I think a lot of that is down to having Victor Gyökeres up front. So I feel like that was a very long-winded way of saying I'd start Gyökeres.
No, I get you though. I hear you. You backed up why. I looked at it the other day, Christian. I looked at I'm not really a stats guy. I just win the game or lose the game, right? For me, but when you look at stats, it's quite evident that Arsenal do better when Gyökeres is on the pitch. Now, whether that is because Gyökeres is great individually or whether he's actually allowing other people to be great, I'm still not quite sure. I want to see more from him personally. I've got to be honest. I wanted him so badly. If Hannah will know and the chat will know how badly I wanted Gyökeres. It ain't worked out so far, in my opinion. I do want to see more individually from him. But I think you're right to say when Jesus plays. That season in 2020-23, all 3 of them got 15 goals. Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard. And Jesus, when he has come on, I've really liked it. Now, he is the same old Jesus, by the way. It's beautiful to watch, but you don't know where the goal is. I mean, he did score a good goal against Villa, to be fair to him. But I do feel like it's a real question mark. I was listening to the boys on Lewis-Skelly the other day, and Turkish was spot on, really. He's like, I don't care who plays up front. And I'm like that. I actually am like that now. I don't actually care who plays up front. Because I don't think any of them right now have taken the ball by the horns by saying, this is my position. Everyone get away. Which is why when Kai Havertz comes back, he will be playing up front, people, because the others have not done it right so far, right? And I'm not a massive fan of Havertz up top, but I don't think the others have done anything to make me realise that, well, he's not getting back in because all these 3 have been absolutely killing it. When Marino is the one that looks best, it's a worry. It really is. So I do think that potentially in the summer, we might have to have a conversation about dipping back into the market. I know there's not loads of strikers out there, but maybe an Alvarez or someone might have to be bought in because you can't just stick with something if it isn't sort of working.
See, I'm the opposite of that, Dan. I'm the complete opposite of that. I think you don't change something that's working. Like, I think we've gone from a team that, like, we were so excited about Gyökeres because it gave us one up on other teams. Oh, we've got a superstar striker now. Yeah, we weren't really focused on the league. We were more focused on, we've got a superstar striker. You see, now we're getting closer to the league and we see it's within touching distance. We don't really care about individual. Like, Saka hasn't even hardly scores any goals. We're not even worried about whether Saka's scoring or not, or whether Odegaard is or anything like that. We're now thinking about the team winning games. And if Gyökeres doesn't score, but we're winning games, you just stick with that. Gyökeres starts, Jesus comes on. That's the formula that you stick with. You never don't need to change a winning formula. When Jesus comes on, our team drops so deep anyway. He's too busy in our own half, messing around, and like our team drops too deep with Jesus on the pitch anyway. Like, he's a brilliant sub, and that's just what he's always going to be. And I think we just have to stick with him being a brilliant sub, and that's that.
I just think as fans, we've also just got to get used to the fact that our style of play isn't. We're not built to have a number 9 that scores most of the goals. We're built to have a number 9 and a striker, or a false 9, should I say, that facilitates the rest of the team. That's exactly what Liverpool were when Firmino was up front. Salah was outscoring him. Mane was outscoring him. He was dropping deep. He was pulling defenders. He was linking up. Don't get me wrong, he'd definitely chip in with goals. But he wasn't in there to be the top goal scorer. When you bring in a guy like Gyökeres, who obviously is the top goal scorer in Europe over the past 2 years, you think that maybe we're changing it. But if you look at City as well, a few years before Haaland came, they played with a false 9. No kind of recognised striker after, obviously, Aguero went. So that is where we are right now. And I think it will take a massive shift in system or a player that is on the market to come in for Arteta to change that. And I think for the next 2 or 3 years, while Jesus might move on, but I think he will still be there maybe next year, Havertz is going to be in the squad for at least probably 2 or 3 more years. Gyökeres now, what has he got? 5-year contract. So I can't really see that style of play changing, like I say, unless there's a striker on the market, which is an obvious tap in to sign. That
Do you remember when remember when teams used to like play players for just their one strength or their one attribute? So, you know, Stoke, they used to play Rory Delap just because he had the brilliant throw, or certain players would play just because of their cross or stuff like that. Gyökeres might just be the guy that you keep on the pitch just in case you get a penalty in a dire minutes. Because the way he's won games for us purely from moments.
And you know what there is as well? Sorry, D. I was on
go
the
on.
stream with Lee Judges. He was in the studio with us the other day. And he made a good point that I think in the last 4 games, I think against Wolves, against Palace, was it Palace? No, Jesus played against Palace. Who was after Palace? Villa, Brighton.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth. But
Bournemouth,
3 or
yeah.
4 games anyway out of the last 5. Every time Gyökeres has gone off, the other team's gone down the other end and scored.
Yeah, scored. Yeah, we dropped too deep. We dropped too
Which
deep.
is definitely we are exactly that. We're definitely dropping deep. We're definitely sitting back more.
And it's
We don't have
unfair
the
and
outlet
it's
up front to
unfortunate
go
on
wrong.
Gyökeres, because if Gyökeres stayed on, a lot of strikers get a lot of their goals in the last 20 minutes of games, and he always comes off in the last 20 minutes of games, so he doesn't really get a chance to kind of up his goal tally. But it's not really our concern. We wanted to win the game, but Jesus is coming on when teams are tired. It makes sense.
I was going to say that actually. The more I watch us, the more I think, how can we get the best out of Gyökeres? And a lot of people have got themselves twisted into thinking that we need to change the system. And I originally thought that myself. I think there's only one thing that we need to do, and that's move the ball quicker. That's it. Simple as that. Because even when you watch us against Villa in the first half, when we moved that ball quickly and we got that ball into the box first time, Gyökeres was on the end of it. Okay, the first chance he should have done a hell of a lot better with. He should have at least hit the target, if not scored. And the second chance, you know, he got too much on the header. But I think what Gyökeres needs is he needs us to move the ball quickly to allow him to get himself into the positions that he needs to be in, where he can hurt teams without allowing these teams to reset. So I don't think it's a system thing with Gyökeres. I just think it's simply a thing where we at times move the ball too passively, and that allows other teams to reset. It allows him to be marked easier because he's not got the greatest first touch. He's not got the greatest build-up play. He's not got the greatest hold-up play, you know. But I think if you do get him in the right positions, you will see him score goals. I think the fact that Odegaard is now starting to look a little bit more like the Odegaard that we know he can be, I think that'll help massively. And I do think that if we start to move this ball a bit quicker, you will see Gyökeres scoring more goals. You will see Gyökeres scoring more goals, even though we're asking him to do that kind of drop deep sort of thing that Havertz and Jesus does, and he's not that great at it. I do think you can get better out of him if we move the ball quicker. I genuinely think that.
You know what's mad, right? Christian made a great point earlier, which I think we've all been looking at completely differently, right? I think for the last 5-6 years, we've asked 2 questions. Are these strikers very good, or is Arteta just not getting the best out of them? I actually think it's none of those. I actually think Arteta doesn't want to get the best out of any of them. I think what Christian said is he wants a false 9 that's going to build up play, and he doesn't want the striker to score 30, 40 goals and be the focal point. He's more than happy, like that 22-23 season, for Saka and Martinelli to get 15 apiece, Odegaard to get 15, Jesus to chip in with 10 to 12. And like Bobby Firmino used to do, he'd get sort of double figures, but Salah and Mane had hit like 30 each. I think that's the kind of route he wants to go down. And it's really interesting just thinking about that. I just think now we've tried every striker. We've tried every profile, whether they're Aubameyang, goal, Lacazette, Eddie Nketiah, Gyökeres now, Havertz, Jesus, Marino even at times. And none of them have really looked like, wow, we've got Thierry Henry.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, Dan, are we kind of bolting, you know, a little bit too early? Because we've got to remember, Gyökeres looked decent. Wait, he didn't look decent when he first came in, but he did start to gradually get into it, and then he got injured, and now he's back into the team again. And when he first come back from the injury, he looked horrific. But now he is starting to gradually, you know, get back into it again. He has looked better over the last couple of games. I just think the more games that he plays for us, and the more he gets used to, where the likes of Odegaard wants him to make his runs, and where, what positions Saka's going to find him, and Trossard, etc. The more he gets used to that and builds up the relationships, I think you will see better from him. But like I say, I do just think that if you want him to get into the positions to score goals on a regular basis, we just simply have to move the ball quicker. Put the ball in the box first time. There was a goal against, I can't remember who it was against now. But Eze put the ball in the box first time, and Gyökeres was there to finish it off. Forest, there you go. Yeah. It just shows, if you move the ball a bit quicker.
On Thursday, then, Brandon, would you stick with Gyökeres Thursday? Yeah,
I would, because you look at Van Dijk and Konate at the moment; they're all over the place. Let's just be honest about it. Like Liverpool really do struggle to keep clean sheets, and I think the thing with Gyökeres is he will. Because he's that number 9 who wants to run on the shoulder, he doesn't want to drop deep all the time. I think he will make Van Dijk and Konate think a little bit more. And with the fact that they're not really on form themselves at the moment anyway, I just think that does allow, like what we were saying, Saka and Trossard and Odegaard a bit more space as well to, hurt Liverpool as well. But I think we've really got to go for the jugular with Liverpool. Let's just be honest about it. I think in the first game, we was far too reserved. We was far too worried about, Liverpool going up the other end and scoring compared to us actually going and winning the game. I think we've got to change our attitude now and say, look, this Liverpool side are not that great defensively. We can get at them. We've got players that are performing, and we need to go on Thursday and just put out a statement there and just go up there and attack. To be honest with you, because
you look at that first. Sorry, Brandon. When you look at that first Arsenal game now, first Liverpool game, sorry, with a bit of perspective, you can kind of see what it was. Right, we went there. Saliba got injured in 2 minutes. Eze had just signed, so he wasn't obviously fit enough or didn't fit into the system. So Mourinho had to play in midfield because Odegaard was still injured. Madueke started because Saka was injured. Gyökeres had barely settled into the team yet. And we went there against the team that everyone thought was going to walk the league. And it was a 0-0 until a moment of quality in the last 5 minutes, right? That is the perspective. At the time, I tried to put on the game, but everyone's like, but Arsenal bottlers. I think everyone can agree that was definitely the vibe around it then. We just couldn't see it because Liverpool were on a winning streak. I think that was our first loss, and it just looked like doom and gloom. Going into this game, on the form that we're in, fit centre-backs, fully fit midfield, and Odegaard, who in my opinion is in the best form he's been in since before the injury. Don't get me wrong, I know it's only 3 or 4 games, but it looks positive. Saka now back and fit in the team with competition from Madueke, who, if Saka doesn't perform, maybe Madueke has an argument to start. Gyökeres, who now knows the system and is playing his part. Trossard, who's in form. This is a completely different game, and we're at home, and we're top of the league. Everything points towards a win. Everything points towards a convincing win. And it's just funny how narratives can change so quickly.
And we have a tendency of being a little bit more reserved against Liverpool because of the fact that they've got the likes of Mo Salah. He's not there now. Do you know what I mean? There's only one attacking player of Liverpool that I really do, think can hurt us, and that's Ekitike. I don't even look at Isak and think, Jesus Christ, or even Wirtz. I know Wirtz has scored recently, but I look at Liverpool and I think, with the players that we've got back with Gabriel, Saliba, our back four is pretty much, sorted. I don't look at them and think, we should maybe be a bit more reserved in this game. I think we should be performing exactly how we did against Aston Villa in the second half. Just press them high. Don't let them breathe. Create chance after chance after chance. And I can actually I'm not even joking. I could see this being a right slapping for Arsenal. I could see us winning this 3 or 4-0.
Let me tell you why we need to, right? Let me just quickly, and I'll bring Stricto and D into reasons why, right? When we were down and out, and it was down and out, it weren't too long ago when you think about it, we had to hold 5 at Anfield. We had to hold 6 at the Etihad. We had to go to Chelsea and lose 6-0 on Wenger's 1000th game. Everyone battered us when we were down. Now it's time for us to do the same. So I would love to put 8 past Man United that they did to us. I'd love to go and stick 5 past Liverpool at the Emirates when they're down. This is what we need to now do. And I'm not saying that if we don't do that, it's a disgrace, because I'll take 1-0 because I just want to win these games, right? But I want to be convinced that we can actually destroy a team like Liverpool when they come to the Emirates, because they are not a good side right now. They have some individual quality, but they're not playing as a team. Arne Slot, nobody really wants to seem to want to keep him in the fan base, it seems. You've got Van Dijk and Konate who are moving mad. They've got nothing in midfield that shows any form of balance or continuity at the moment. And up top, like you say, Ekitike, who, by the way, would actually fit into Arsenal's team quite well, in my opinion. He's the only one. Isak's out injured. Wirtz,
he might be out as well.
He's been that great. Yeah, so let's be real. This should be a convincing win, right, Strict?
Yeah,
And
bro.
not only that as well, right? Liverpool from set pieces are shocking this season. Terrible this season.
Bro,
So-
There you go.
let me say to you, yeah, 100% agree with what you're saying, Dan. It's about time we go and start decapitating these teams and really, really putting out a statement that any time they play Arsenal, they have to be wary. And listen, I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans online. They're absolutely shit in this game. And I don't know whether or not it's a psychological thing where they put themselves in a false sense of confidence about false sense of inconfidence, or whatever that word is. Yeah. And then if they get something, it's not so bad. But the way we've been playing and the way things, and I think, Christian, you put a great perspective on that first game at Anfield, where actually, if you look back now and knowing what we know now, Saliba obviously getting injured in the first 5 minutes, and Saka and the whole Eze hadn't trained with us or had limited training time with us. If you look at that, we actually did quite well, bar that great goal that Szoboszlai scored. We are a better team than Liverpool. We are more quick than Liverpool. We are more determined than Liverpool. The league positions will show you that. And I don't think at this moment in time where Liverpool is starting to pick up, they actually don't want to play Arsenal, because psychologically this could set them back another 2-3 weeks back again if Arsenal beat them. So I don't think right now Arsenal's a team they want to play. You know, I think they're still trying to find their feet a little bit. I know obviously they drew against Fulham, but Arsenal obviously is a different thing to Fulham. Last time we played Liverpool, I was actually quite impressed at Emirates. We, bar the injuries that we had, Timber coming off, we were sticking it to them. Saka scored a tremendous goal against Robertson, beat Robertson and just smashed it in. Liverpool, of course, a win is probably the most important. In fact, a win is important, whether it's 5-0, 5-4, 1-0. Just get the 3 points, job done. But I would love to humiliate Liverpool. We've done that to City already. And by the way, that was a City team without just Rodri. They had everyone else there. We humiliated them last season. So it would be great to stick one to Liverpool too, especially with how they've been giving it to us over the year and over the season, sorry. And I think if we did that, it would cement what I do believe Arteta has been building these last few years, which is a team of juggernauts, a team of mentality monsters. If you want to prove you can win this league, you might have to do a madness against your rivals. You might have to do that. I've seen Man United do it over the years. I've seen Liverpool do it over the years to Man United. So why not? I'm not against it, but for me, it's the 3 points that matters. Just get the 3 points no matter what.
It is.
You know what?
You're gonna. You matters more than anything. It was literally only a couple of weeks ago that Wolves. I got to put a bit of perspective. Wolves came to the Emirates and we absolutely stunk the place out. We were poor in that game, so I'm not saying that Liverpool can't come and give us a game. But yeah, it would be nice for there to be blood. It would be nice to get one over.
There's a free hit for Wolves. I think that game is.
They played well though. We were awful. Well, terrible.
It's a game no one else here can explain what happened in that game. It was one of those. It's literally just one of those games. I don't think you get 2 of those games in a season. I think, in fact, if it's going to happen to any team, it should happen against Wolves. Do you know what I mean? But Liverpool, no doubt, don't want this fixture right now. They don't want this. It's like a boxer that's been out of the game for a while. They need to ease them. He's had a couple wins behind on his belt. Needs a couple more wins before he can sort of go for the big hitters. Right now, Liverpool are currently starting up again, and this is the last team they want to play. And honestly, call me deluded, but I just don't see how Liverpool win this game. If all is fair, 11 versus 11, or God, even if it's 10 versus 10, like I just can't see how they win this game. I just don't see it. I've watched Liverpool play over these last few weeks. I said it in the start of the season. I got a lot of people in the comments because they don't like Stricto.
You did.
I said it in the start of the season. I said this team will finish 4th. Van Dijk is finished. Konate
You actually said outside the top 4. One thing I'll give you. You did say that. The only thing for me is I still think we gotta stay in just winning each game. Like I know, like we all want to, we want to kill Liverpool, we want to kill Man United. I'm on that. I do want to kill them if we get an opportunity to, but I still kind of just want to. If we get through this Liverpool game and we win this game, we've then got through Villa, Bournemouth away, and Liverpool at home with 9 points. That's a seriously strong run of fixtures that we've got through. I really want to get through this Liverpool game because every single time Man City have a tough game, we look at it like, oh, can they get through it? And when they were beating Chelsea, I was like, oh, they're going to get through this tough game and another win. But I'm so happy that they got the draw. And we're like, yeah, okay, Chelsea did what they had to do. If we can beat Liverpool, I think it puts us in a seriously strong position. And I just take it one game at a time. I really want to just focus on just getting that win more so than killing Liverpool and stuff like that. Like I think.
Give me your prediction, Andy. What are you saying for Thursday?
I think it's going to be See what I'm saying? You're not even using the football gods properly. You're not even like, come on, bro. You're not. No, I think it's going to be. I think Liverpool can turn it on at any time. This is the thing. They've got quality players all over their pitch. It's going to be as big a game as, and they're fighting for the top 4 as well. It's not like they've got nothing to play for. They need to finish top 4. They can't finish top 4. So I think 2-1 maybe, 2-1 potentially 3-1. But I think the game will be a game where it looks like people are going to find out how good of a team we are. I think we were going to have to deserve to win the game. I think when we watch the game, you'll be like, oh yeah, Arsenal deserved that. Whether we win or not, I think you'll be like, oh yeah, this team are really good. But I actually would rather just get the win and move on. We got 2 weeks off. Was it 2 weeks after this game, isn't it? So I want to. If we get this win, we've got
Portsmouth. We've got Portsmouth.
Yeah, but we've got Portsmouth at the weekend. But in the Premier League, we've got 2 weeks. The next game is on the 20th or something. So
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, we need this one. I think we need to just get
I'm with my boy Ryan in the chat. I think 3-1 Arsenal. That's what I'm going to go with. What are you saying, Stricto?
I don't think they even score. If I'm being honest, bro. I don't think they score. Bro, 4-0.
Wow.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. Bro. I hear you. That's why you're a YouTube sensation, because you do all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I see you live on big channels. You and Potts, I see you lot about. That's why.
It's going to be honestly, how I see this.
All of you, I see you. I'm just a little fisher. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
come on, bro.
I'm saying how I see it. Yeah. It's gonna be a 3-0 halftime slapping, and then second half foot off the pedal, and then grab one more once they're trying to get into the game.
4-0, bro.
All right, sweet. Let's see what Christian and Brandon think. Go on, Christian. What are you telling me?
Atletico Madrid was 0-0 at halftime, and we finished 4-0. Bayern Munich was 1-1 halftime, finished 3-1. Villa was 1-1 halftime. 1-1 halftime or 0-0 halftime?
0-0.
0-0 halftime. Finished 4-1. I think it's going to be 1-1 halftime, and I think it's going to finish 4-1.
Okay.
But that's not mad. How's this one not mad? And my one is mad.
Did you say 1-1?
I backed it up. I said why? I gave 4.
Oh, you think we're going to draw?
No, he said 1-0 at halftime, and then the game will finish 4-1.
Yeah.
Oh, 4-1. Oh, sorry.
3-1 or 4-1. We're winning this game.
Okay. Brandon?
It's a tough one.
It's a team that lost 3-0 at home to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. Problem is we have a tendency of going a couple of goals up, and then we kind of, sit back and we end up conceding. I'd like to think we wouldn't concede, because I think if we're on job all game, I think we can we can potentially beat them 2 or 3-0. I've just got a feeling that we'll probably concede 1, and I'm going to say 3-1 as well. But at the same time, it depends on how brave you want to be. I mean, if it was me and I was in charge, I'm looking at that Liverpool team at the moment and how vulnerable they are. I'd actually make changes to the midfield. I'd put Zubimendi on the bench. He's played a lot of games. I'd stick Rice in the 6, and I'd play Eze and Odegaard together. Yeah, let Odegaard control the game in midfield.
That's too risky, too random.
Nah, it isn't, because Rice is everywhere, man. Rice and Zubimendi defensively.
But it's unnecessary though, isn't it?
So Boslai is a physical player. He'll run all over you if you take Zubimendi out of the team. Gravenberch, even McAllister.
That's just asking.
You need
asking for problems, man. It's asking for problems.
I don't know.
Why do you feel like gambling though? Why do you want to gamble though? Why do you want to gamble though?
That's Top Gooner stuff we're saying there, Brendan. What's going on?
I think if we gamble, if we gamble like that, everybody's talking about slappings, and I think if we gamble like that, we could actually slap them like 4-5-0. I genuinely believe that. I don't think this Liverpool side cohesively are very good at all at the moment.
Zubi's crucial to what we've been doing recently, though, man.
Yeah, but Zubi's about control, isn't he? Whereas if we take Zubi out,
Villa, he was the one getting forward.
No, he helps defensively.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I know he helps defensively, but what I'm saying is his main part of his game is the control in midfield. Odegaard gives us control in midfield. Do you know what I mean? He's just a bit higher up the pitch. And Odegaard. I
don't think it's going to happen, though, Brandon. I think he loves Zubimendi.
Nah, it ain't going to happen because
why stop there? Why stop there, Brandon? Why not mix it up a bit more? Why stop there?
What do you mean mix it up a bit more?
There's a lot more gambling you could do, bro. There's a lot more.
Put Kepa in goal.
Where's
Lakonga?
Get Lakonga back. Do you know what? I will say one thing though. The change I would make is I would put Saka on the bench for Madueke. I would. I don't think is that controversial?
Yeah, no need. There's no need,
Saka, man.
I respect Noni. I understand it. He played well against Bournemouth, but for me, Saka's these big games, man.
I bring Noni on.
Saka's
Noni and Martinelli are big, 2 good players to bring on. I think with fresh legs and getting behind, I think Liverpool gives some space. I think they're 2 brilliant subs, in fact, to bring on Martinelli and Noni. So yeah, that's what I would do. But look, man, we've come to the end. Let's do these super chats before we get out of here. We can go and watch West Ham and Forest. I can't believe it's the only game on tonight, and everyone's actually genuinely looking forward to seeing who it is because West Ham could be down, man. This one comes in from Chaitanya. Says, big up, City are proactive and will buy in January. Semenyo and Guehi, they don't miss their targets. Win our games and go get that Carabao Cup. Show intent. Big up to you, Chaitanya. I hope you're well, bruv. I totally agree. I want to win that cup as well. Netweed's back. Big up to you, bro. He says, for fans laughing at Amorim and Maresca, count how many league titles they've won in 18 months and how many Arteta has in his 70 months. Just remember, we did not replace Wenger to keep coming second. Let's hope we don't come second in May, bruv. I'm totally with you. We need to win this league. Netweed says, it's okay, Carl. You've had 22 years off as a fan. Does anyone understand that one? I don't understand what that means. But big up to you, Netweed. I hope you're well, bruv. And Happy New Year to you. Stricto, what you got coming up, man? How can people follow you, bruv?
Yeah, people, you know the vibes, man. Stricto Strict on YouTube. The usual watch along, match reactions, and everything else in between. So make sure you go over there. You know, support the top gooner with the grey beard. Let's keep them moving. You know what I'm saying?
Love that, bro. Make sure you're following Strict and showing some love. D, likewise, bro.
Fam's on TV, man. The same old, just streams and football talking every avenue, man. Big up you lot. Big up. This is a nice, calm kind of stream today, but big up you guys as well, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice stream today, so.
Come on. Big up, bro. Christian?
Yeah, big up all you guys. Big up the chat today as well. Nice to see some positivity. Nice to all agree for once. But yeah, man, Christian Tar Sports. You can find me on there making content every now and then. So yeah,
love that, man. Brandon,
you know me, Dan. I'm here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, anywhere really. Mainly the Football Terrace on here as well, and I might just pop up anywhere. You know what I mean?
You know what, Brandon? Let me say something.
Sam's on TV as well, Brandon. No, me and Brandon have got.
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna start streaming soon as well. You
Love
get me?
Go on,
Love
Strick, though. Go. What you want to
What
say?
I'm gonna say, Brandon. Yeah, I know me and you have a lot of disagreements. Like we have different views on the whole whatever Arteta. Yeah, me and you see things different. But I fuck with you heavy because unlike the other dudes, I'm not gonna mention them. You are very respectful, and I think I give you respect. I like to believe you give me respect too. And I just want to say to the chat, because a lot of the chat sometimes get a lot of these. I don't know. They go mad with the chats.
Yeah,
But I
Stricto's been
fuck
getting
with you.
heat. Stricto's been getting heat recently. He's been getting a lot
Yeah,
of flack.
I've been getting a lot. I've been getting a lot of heat. But
Stricto's
you know, with
probably
me,
enemy number one right now.
you know, with me, it's all about respect. Like we can agree and disagree. That's cool. Do you know what I'm saying? But with you, I must say, you, as much as I don't agree with a lot of the stuff you say, I will still give you the respect because you're just generally a respectable person, innit? I just want to say that because a lot of people tend to think I hate quote unquote the bottom gooners. No, I just hate disrespectful people. It's simple as that. Your opinion is equally as valid as mine. You know, it's yours and it's mine. So yeah, big up yourself, man. Just saying that, bro.
Big up yourself, man.
Love people, love panel, love chat. Thanks for the super chats. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you're following every single one of these guys, putting out great content. We're going to send you over to Wolfie, who's doing the watch along Forest Fan TV. Just go and put in Dan Potts raid. Just go and put in Ginger Mourinho. Go and put in Forest going down. Go wind him up, man. He winds enough people up on this channel every day. So go and show some love to him. And we'll see you next time, people. We're out of here. Love.